Alrighty guys, Boku Dake time. The reason I look forward to Thursdays and Friday, even though it's Friday now, but interesting episode this was. I have seen complaints, and I do have a few of my own, but there are also some controversial decisions that I would like to defend. So, episode 11. Satoru did not die. It's not really all that surprising. It would be very strange to kill off your main character with only 2 episodes to go, but also the show really makes an effort to make you feel what that would be like. How empty the story and the world would be without him. Because for the first few minutes of the show, he's entirely absent. We don't know what happened. Absent to the point where they literally remove him from the opening. That was quite the wow moment, really. I wasn't expecting it at all. Just like when he doesn't walk onto those empty seats, that was chilling. You just realize what they're doing. Like, oh, they're not gonna walk on. It was crazy. But then we get to watch Sachiko go about her usual life for years without him. This allowed the episode to start off with a real emotional punch and emptiness that I found really, really powerful. It was a great directorial decision. But, long story short, Satoru was in a coma for 15 years after Yasuda tried to kill him. They don't really tell us how exactly Satoru got out of there, which is my first complaint about the episode, as that certainly could have been a very poignant moment. It could have been like immediately prior to the credits, or even given in brief flashes as Sachiko was going about everyday life, sort of like cutting in and out between her new life and her finding her son all but dead in a frozen lake. Or, of course, there's the possibility of Yashiro having pulled him out of the water to play with him a little while longer, as per his monologue earlier this episode. But I also think that that would probably be an unnecessary risk for him to take, so I don't think it's what happened. So I think it would make a little bit more sense for Sachiko or a friend to find him, or even just like someone walking by. That being said, I definitely do prefer the idea of a coma, as opposed to some sort of thing where he just miraculously escapes. Wouldn't make any sense. It's a very interesting development, honestly, not something that you'd really see coming. It adds a real cost to Satoru's actions. Like, yes, you can live, but you literally just gave up 15 years of your life to save these people. And not only that, it really gives us a chance to fully understand how glorious a human being Sachiko Fujinuma is. She, for 15 years, visited her comatose son every single day and ensured that his body didn't, fall apart by keeping it active for 4 hours a day. Every single day, not even knowing if he would ever wake up. I almost started tearing up, I kid you not. It was so beautiful and sad, and I can't. Best mom in anime, but at least out of the anime that I have seen. And when he at last wakes up, you can just see the relief and joy in her face. It's wonderful. Satoru lives. The bit of a twist being his memory is very, very shaky. Meaning, conveniently enough for Mr. Yashiro-sensei, he cannot remember anything of what just happened. Also, this little bit I found very cool. His thoughts are now narrated by his child self, an inverse of what we've had for the greater part of the story. It's kind of sad, really, that Satoru's childhood was cut off without any warning. And then just the child wakes up one day in an adult's body instead of an adult in a child's body, as it's been the entire story. Also, again, sort of reinforcing something that I thought last week, that even adult Satoru is something of a child a little bit. Fortunately, he soon does regain his maturity, and arguably his memory. We don't know exactly when he regained his memories, but I think it's a little bit sooner than he lets on later on. But never mind that. He sets himself on his rehab with great determination. Even though he doesn't really seem to remember anything, he still seems dead set out on getting out into the world and doing something. I would characterize it as something of a lingering impression of what he used to want to do, if nothing else. Sort of as he explains to Kaio that even though he doesn't remember what he wanted, everything that happened is a result of him going after something that he wanted, and so we can't really complain. And honestly, I sort of love that sort of attitude of his. And while we're on the topic of Kaio, we of course need to discuss that little twist. Kaio married Hiromi, and they had a child together in the 15 years that Satoru had been comatose. And I know that a lot of people are unhappy about this, and I'm not going to deny that there definitely seemed to be a little bit of a ship tease. And I would have loved to see Satoru and Hinazuki get together when they're adults. I really would have. But I honestly think that criticizing the show for this is sort of ridiculous. Not really liking that it happened is fine, it's one thing. But thinking any less of the show because of it, I don't think it's worthy. I don't think it's worthy of criticism for that reason. But as I said last week, the show is not exclusively about Kaio. She's not the central character here, nor is her relationship with Satoru the most important. The anime focused a lot on her at the beginning, yes, so it is not entirely unreasonable to think that. But I would sort of attribute a good amount of this issue to devoting too much time to the Kaio subplot early on as opposed to what's going on now. Sort of a little bit unbalanced. But at the end of the day, Kaio marrying Hirumi and having a child with him and finding happiness of her own really is just a symbol of Satoru's success, a validation of all that he's done, something that really gives meaning to all that he's suffered. He gave up 15 years of his life to save these two children who would have otherwise both died at the age of 10 or 11. And from them, we now get new life as well. I think it's beautiful. And honestly, you really can't expect Kaio to wait forever over a childhood crush. Someone very important to her, yes, but someone who might have never waken up. She really does need to be able to move on, to be able to live without Satoru. He didn't save her so she can be dependent on him. And so, I really don't get the complaints about Kaio here, other than the show probably devoting a little bit too much time, relatively speaking, to her subplot, and so leading us to think, from an audience perspective, that it might have happened. But never mind all that. Satoru is recovering, he's making friends with a little girl in the hospital, reporters spying on him a little bit, just like the guy who survived a 15-year coma. Only for our dear friend Yashiro to walk in. He stops these snooping reporters, yes. When I heard his voice, I shouted at the screen, I kid you not. I was not expecting him to appear right then, in the hospital, where Satoru is recovering, of all places. Like, I was assuming that we'd, get to recover, he'd slowly regain his memories, he'd maybe confide in Kenya, or maybe meet Irie or something like that, and then they would hunt down Yashiro themselves. Not this. Now, from what I'm hearing, it was different in the manga that Irie shut down the reporters, that Yashiro reappears under different circumstances, and something to do with, a camp, I don't really know. And so I can definitely understand the manga readers being upset about this, especially that Irie's role really seems to be greatly reduced in the wider story now, because I really don't know how she's going to be re-entered into this, as technically, as of yet, she has never met Satoru at this point in time. But it was said that the manga ending would be done in the anime, but it doesn't really look like that's going to happen anymore, because it seems like they're changing a lot, and from what I've heard from manga readers, that they really are. And I guess it really is a pity that we're not going to get to see a lot of the manga story animated. I mean, now, I have a real reason to read the manga, and I can't wait to do that. I really do want to see the original story. However, I need to say that from an anime-only perspective, this was fantastic. It was so intensely nerve-wracking to see Satoru in the same exact position again, trusting this man, Yashiro, being so kind and helpful, helping him care for that little girl. I'm just get away from that child, get away from her. Now, Yashiro. Knowing what he has already done to Satoru personally, knowing that Satoru can barely walk right now, and knowing that the only thing separating Satoru from death is an inability to remember what happened. It's when Yashiro just takes him off alone, when they go in that elevator, when they go up onto the roof, I'm like, oh my gosh. I mean, at the end of the episode, Satoru does remember, and I would say that the translation of the line here feels kind of stiff. I'd be interested to see the feeling that the original Japanese gives off, but still, Satoru has his memories back now, and I don't really know where we're going to go from here. In fact, it seems that a lot of the manga readers are now completely in the dark as well. But ultimately, I think that what was cut was probably the best thing, given the limited time frame. I mean, I can't say for certain, because the original story may be fantastic, but it might be better, given that we only have an episode left, it's probably better to narrow the story down as it comes to a close, to keep this about Satoru and the killer. Like, we still need to get the explanation for revival itself. I'm really dead set on getting that. I really hope we get it next episode. And a little bit more of Yashiro history as well. Like, what we got at the opening of this episode was fantastic. It was sick, but it was great. It seems that Yashiro filling that hole in his heart is by, like, enjoying the power trip that choosing something, whether can live or die. Like, we have these hamsters, and his childhood story, or in reality, these people, they're like in these wretched situations, and he can play either savior or executioner, offer them that little spider's thread out, or snip it and let them fall, and every once in a while he comes across a hamster or a person who tries to rise above all of that, and it makes the process all the more thrilling, all the more fun for him. That one hamster being Satoru. It was a really, really creepy way to start off the episode. Like, props to the voice actor for that. It was really, really well done, especially straight into the Satoru-less opening. But I heard that there's more manga backstory, that, like, a lot got cut. But maybe next episode, like, now that we're just down to Yashiro and Satoru, like, I don't know. If nothing else, the manga awaits. And I can definitely say that the story is feeling a little bit rushed now due to the 12 episode limit. Not every plot thread is being fully dealt with due to the 12 episode limit. Like, I really wish that they just, like, did a 2-core thing here. Just, like, 24 episodes and give everything a chance to really develop. Both plot lines, the old storyline, the present storyline, I think it would be a lot better. And so the manga story probably is superior to the anime in that respect. But honestly, when I finished this episode, I was just as into it as I've always been, if not more so. And honestly, I think the only thing at the moment that's really inhibiting me from saying this is one of the best things I've ever seen is knowing that the original story is something different. But then I say that even if this isn't as good as the full story, it's still really, really good. That not as good doesn't necessarily mean bad. And I really prefer that they cut stuff and execute what they keep really well, which I think they're doing, rather than try to include everything, rush it, botch it, and do it poorly. And just, like, leave the entire anime in a bad state. Like, I'm gonna read the manga, and I can't wait to see what happens there. And I'm probably going to do, like, a separate review for the manga now, just, like, to compare the two stories. But, like, I'm kind of looking forward to the anime version of the story as well. It's like, we get 2 Boku Dakes now? I'm not really going to complain. But, yeah, really, I'm still on board with the show, even though I know that significantly fewer people are at this point. I'm still really enjoying the entire ride that it's taking me on. A few episodes ago, I would have called this flawless. I can't anymore, but it's still one of my favorite anime, honestly, and definitely in my top 2 of the season. I love it, and I hope that a lot of people do feel the same way, because I think that this really does remain an incredible show with great characters, with a really great plot that addresses some really fantastic themes. So, yeah, really, thank you, Boku Dake, for giving me an amazing anime this season. And I can't wait to see how this wraps up next week. I'm really excited. But yeah, let me know what you thought in the comments. Are you guys still liking this show, or are you guys not so happy about it? I don't know. I feel like I'm seeing a lot of negativity right now, and it's upsetting to me. But like or subscribe, and thank you for watching. I'll see you soon.